World Rally Championship is the training ground for the next generation of WRC stars. We're in Greece for the Acropolis Rally, where the class of 2005 have gathered for round 4. This season's competition has proved as competitive as ever, with 3 different winners in the opening 3 events. Britain's Chris Meek claimed his first victory in the category over the icy mountain roads above Monte Carlo. Compatriot Guy Wilkes took honours in round 2 as the JWRC ventured outside Europe for the first time at Rally of Mexico. And Spaniard Daniel Sordo claimed his first victory in just his 2nd event in the category in Sardinia, underlining the competitiveness of the new Citroën C2. With all competitors nominating one round in which not to score points, it's Meek who leads the championship despite already having dropped his event. But teammates Sordo, Wilkes and last year's champion Per Gunnar Andersen are just 1 point behind. Meek came close to claiming his 2nd win of the season in Sardinia until a mistake in the hanging dust meant he had to settle for 3rd. But he's still the championship leader and is delighted with the pace of the Citroën C2 so far this season.
You know, I think Sardinia was a big step for the C2. You know, we made a big improvement, and you know, now it's just a matter of fine-tuning, and you know, hopefully, you know, as the year progresses, the car will just, you know, grow and grow.
After his maiden JWRC victory, Meek's young teammate Daniel Sordo has had to change his co-driver, with Mark Marti temporarily back beside Sordo's mentor Carlos Sainz. Oriol Julia fills his seat.
Yes, Oriol has a good experience in the World Rally Championship, and for me in the set down is good and the recce is good. I'm happy.
Following the Citroën C2's impressive performances so far this year, Suzuki's pushed forward the launch of the new Swift for the next round in Finland. And for last year's winner in Greece, Guy Wilkes, the new car cannot come soon enough.
The Swift is right to release, if you like, to let go, let off the leash, and that's exactly what we're going to do. There's no point in keeping it on the shelf if we feel it's going to be, you know, better in areas than the Ignis. But you know, we're here and we're going to do our best in Greece. Just going to drive and enjoy ourselves.
Reigning JWRC champion Per Gunnar Andersen has yet to win this season. After this dramatic role in Greece last year, the Swede knows better than anyone just how treacherous the infamous Acropolis Rally can be.
Friday and Saturday is quite smooth and fast spots, but then on Sunday it starts to be like Greece is normal, really rough and long stages. So I think the rally you can't tell the winner of the rally before Sunday stages are finished, because it's really rough.
The 3-day event begins with a spectacular super special stage in the Olympic Stadium in Athens, but the rally proper takes place around the host city of Lamia to the north of the capital. There are 19 stages, making up a total competitive distance of just under 350 kilometres. Chris Meek starts day 1 as championship leader with a round in hand over his nearest rivals. He needed to have a safe rally and get to the end with as many points as possible. A steady morning's work saw the Citroën driver comfortable in 3rd. But that was his left rear suspension braking. The Osman will not be finishing the first day's action.
Small bump in the road, and the wheel passed me, but I don't know. We'll have to have a look and see what the cause was. But you know, obviously this is Greece, and it's disappointing. But we have Super Rally tomorrow, so we'll hopefully get out on that again, and there's still a good chance of some points.
Teammate Sordo also had a steady morning getting used to the stages on his first visit to Greece, and with his new co-driver, he was up to 2nd and passed his teammate on the stage.
Se cierra 5 rápida, derecha 7 muy rápida, se cierra 5 rápida. Derecha 8 portas, se cierran 7.
But just 4 kilometres further down the stage, exactly the same thing happens. Sordo's left rear suspension also breaks. There'll be some serious questions asked when the two C2 drivers return to service. Last year's winner, Guy Wilkes, knows that with the new Suzuki Swift due for its debut next time out, and then 3 back-to-back tarmac events where traditionally the C2 reigns supreme, to keep his championship hopes alive, he needs to win here in Greece. By the end of the morning's group of stages, that wasn't looking too hopeful. A stone had pierced a hole in the gearbox, losing the Brits lots of oil in the process. He lost over a minute and a half to the leaders. With good results in Monte Carlo and Sardinia, Italian Luca Betti has started the Acropolis Rally 5th in the championship, whilst his closest rallies. Back in Greece with Umoava, despite being forced to stop and change a puncture on the first stage, he would also finish the day at the top of the leaderboard. His only grumble after a whole day's 130 kilometres was that he missed out to Guy Wilkes on a stage win by just 0.7 of a second. Also unscathed by the Greek conditions, defending champion PG Anderson. The Swede won all but one stage of the day, with his main championship rivals all experiencing serious problems. His lead would be almost 3 minutes by the end of day 1 on the Acropolis. Luca Betti's Renault Clio splits the Ford Suzuki Ignis at the top of the leaderboard. Guy Wilkes manages to finish the day in 5th, and thanks to Super Rally, both Daniel Sordo and Chris Meek will re-enter on day 2, but just outside the points.
PG, you won most of the stages today. Could it have got any better?
No, it was a perfect clean day. I was trying quite hard on the first 3 stages to see if I could get some seconds, and it worked well.
And then it got better when your 2 biggest rivals had problems in stage 5.
Yeah, both Sordo and Meek had problems and lost their rear wheels, I think, and of course it helped me I could back off a little bit.
Day 2 of the Acropolis Rally would be another rough one, with 132 kilometres to test the drivers and their cars. Chris Meek and Daniel Sordo were primarily using the Super Rally system as an extended test. Between them, they won half of the day's 8 stages and were having their own private team battle. But if anyone ahead of them picked up major problems, both could be in for some points. After his incident-free day 1, Luca Betti's luck wasn't to continue. On stage 14, the Renault Clio's suspension broke and the Italian was forced to pull up at the side of the road. Fierce disappointment for Betti, and just more proof as to how damaging the Acropolis can be. After his opening day disaster, Guy Wilkes was the man on the move. He started the day with huge confidence that he could better his 5th position. He maintained a steady pace, and by taking advantage of others' misfortunes, the Brit rose up the leaderboard. He'd be battling for the runners-up spot at the end of the day. Ahead of him, it was Umoava that would be feeling the pressure. With Wilkes in confident mood and breathing down his neck, the Estonian couldn't afford to have any problems. A puncture on stage 13 that threw the Suzuki driver into Wilkes' clutches cost him a minute and added more pressure to the pile. Out in front, rally leader PG Anderson was on cruise mode. He had a comfortable lead, especially when Ava fell back. His only aim of the day was to make sure there was enough time between himself and his second-place rival to give him a comfortable cushion to change it, should he get a puncture. His lead at the end of day 2, 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Hopefully, that would see him through. All the top 4 drivers are in Suzukis now, only 3.6 seconds, splitting Arthur and Wilkes for second, and although day 3's tough action will include the longest stages of the rally, the Briton is still confident.
Do you think you can catch Urmo tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we can catch him. I think there's no problem with that. The only problem is, can we, not get a puncture on the last 4 stages, of the rally, which is pretty difficult because 2 of them are very rough. So it's going to be still a damage limitation, but just try and keep edging him every time.
Day just 4 stages, but as Wilkes says, the hardest of the whole rally. A viral infection for the duration of the weekend had cost Kosti Kachimaki all of his energy. In the Greek heat, he was finding it hard to keep his concentration. In fact, during the road sections, he handed the wheel of his Suzuki to co-driver Timo Alane. The Finn would have to settle for 4th place in an off-form weekend. Omoaved lost time through a number of punctures all weekend, as well as power steering and brake issues. It would be yet another puncture, though, that would rob him of equalling his best result of 2005 and let the charging Guy Wilkes through. Despite saying he's happened to take it easy, Wilkes took all but one of the fastest stage times of the day. When he lost 3 minutes on the first day with gearbox problems, second was beyond anything he could have hoped for. But that second was now his, and the 8 points that go with it mean his championship hopes remain alive, and he and co-driver Phil Pugh were more than pleased with their performance.
Right 4 late on finish. Left 2 long late. Go on. Right. Well done.
It was a faultless drive, however, by Suzuki teammate PG Anderson. He was one of the few drivers who didn't incur any serious incidents, and coupled with impressive speed and the strength of the Suzuki Ignis, the Swede was always comfortably out front. His first win of the year and also the championship lead. The defending title holder is back in the hunt.
Se där. Får jag dra en gammal hedlig Fylking-klassiker, äntligen.
I've been waiting for a long time for this victory, so feels very good now. I did, like the team boss said, win this rally.
In the end, Anderson's winning margin over Wilkes was 2 minutes and 50 seconds, Ava having to settle for third. Chris Meek and Mirko Baldacci proved that re-entering with Super Rally rules pays off. They both pick up vital points. Anderson takes the lead in the championship for the first time this season, with Wilkes maintaining second. Remember, both Suzuki still have to drop around later in the year. Next out, Rally Finland will see the debut of the new Suzuki Swift. How will that go versus the Citroens? Celebrating on the top step of the podium, a fitting way for Acropolis Rally PG Anderson to say goodbye and thank you to the Ignis with victory in its final rally.